Hello and welcome back to It's Just a Phase, the only podcast that self-destructs. Tick, 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 tick. I think I've already done this. Hopefully you went and watched the first watch this immediately episode, because that's going to set the stage for what I'm trying to do here today. So, for those that who didn't watch it, this is Schrödinger's Mandalorian and Grogu review. So, until you open the episode, you don't know if this is the spoiler or the spoiler free. Now, because I'm recording this in the future, I can tell you this is a spoiler free. So, those that tried to metagame me and come straight and go straight to episode 1 because you thought this would be the spoiler one, good try. Good try. You can't get me. In fact, both of these episodes will be almost exactly the same amount of time, assuming that I can actually pad the spoiler-free one for the next 7 minutes, which I think I can. But yeah, so if you are looking for the spoiler one, go back one episode, and otherwise, the non-spoiler review happens now. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was pretty cool, and it really made me feel like I was a kid watching Star Wars again. I thought there's a couple, plot elements that I thought were like a little contrived and a little like, oh, this thing happens because it needs to happen. But overall, like, it was a pretty darn good movie. And the effects in it are awesome. And I like kind of what they do with Mandalorian's character. And the only thing I wish they didn't do was play the trailer immediately before the movie, because then, like, stuff happens and you're like, oh, well, I saw this in the trailer, so I know it's going to happen. Like, I know that, Mandalorian survives to this point so that he can have this thing, or you can kind of figure out what the plot is based on what you just saw in the trailer. Now, for me, they literally played it before the previews. They played the trailer, which is a little crazy to me because, like I said, you're waiting for this one thing to happen because you saw it in the trailer, before, and I was just like, okay, well, at least show me a trailer that doesn't give away so much. Now, I get it, we need to be action-packed in the trailer and hype up everything, but, I thought it took away from the movie a little bit. But yeah, I liked the inclusion of, certain characters and how they continued arcs that they've already had, or how they get back into the swing of things. So I really enjoyed it, and I like how it kind of expanded the world a little bit. I think it adds some stuff that is pretty cool, and takes away a couple things there's a pretty interesting story. And I thought that this, it didn't feel like Disney Star Wars. It just felt like Star Wars. It wasn't like what Disney likes to do, which is like cram. Oh, this is your time to laugh. Jokes in. There were like one or two, or I guess closer to 2 or 3 in there that it's like, oh, this is your time to laugh. But overall, it wasn't interested in doing that, and it wasn't interested in just saying, oh, we're just gonna appeal to everyone. It was like, okay, we're gonna do things naturally. And there were a couple, not blink and you miss it. There's a couple shots where it's like, oh, this is a cameo of this guy. And so that, the person that it was, I kind of appreciated that, because I think it's, in a way, recognizing some of the stuff he's done. So I was happy with that. But overall, I really enjoyed the movie, and I thought that it was a lot of fun to watch. That's for sure. Definitely a lot of fun to watch. And that was the best part about it for me, is just I just enjoyed watching it. But it wasn't like you're not supposed to think about it. You're only supposed to enjoy it. It didn't force you to enjoy it. It offered it to you. It's like, if you enjoy Star Wars, or you want to experience, whether it's your first Star Wars movie or whatever, it's like, yeah, you could probably hop in here and just enjoy the movie, without having, what is now almost 50 years of Star Wars just crammed down your neck. It felt like a totally self-contained story. and I did kind of appreciate that it to me, I went in thinking, oh, is this going to be like a spaghetti western, which would be awesome. And I'll say it kind of delivered on that front. It kind of kept that realm in there, but overall did not do anything. It wasn't it wasn't just a spaghetti western, but it kind of kept those elements, and so because of that, I was pretty happy with it. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, I really appreciated kind of. I appreciated a lot of what's in that movie and how they kind of pay respect to some of the originals and some of the stuff they do, and honestly, paid respect to some of the stuff the sequels does, and I liked how they kind of, because it takes place, in between those, like it was pretty nice to have it kind of pay respect or pay homage to both, because they all have their merits. It's like the sequels, hate the sequels, whatever. They all have their merits, and they all do different things, and I wouldn't be surprised if the sequels get their respect coming here, as there are people that grew up on those, and it's like it's the same thing I say about the sequels. It's like I'm just happy that I get to see a Star Wars movie in theaters. That was what I always wanted to do, and now I can. And it was just phenomenal. Like, I really enjoyed that movie, and it was just, and the soundtrack, man, soundtrack's phenomenal. But the soundtrack also does set the tone. Is like this is not your normal Star Wars movie, and I kind of appreciated that it's like, yeah, this is its own thing, and I liked how they kind of there were pieces of other soundtracks, like other like key songs or whatever, like the Mandalorian theme, like that's mixed in some scenes, but it's got its own thing. So it's like, we're not saying we are this thing, or these people are this thing, or this moment is the same as this moment, but we're paying homage and respecting that these have a lot of weight to them. So yeah, I really appreciated that kind of side of it. Definitely the soundtrack side. And the effects, as I said, it's some of the best effects we've gotten, and particularly what they do with hyperspace. Like, it was so, like, it looked good, and you could tell, before, as I said, they showed a trailer, but they also showed us some behind-the-scenes stuff, and how they did hyperspace, it was pretty cool, because you can, like, see it reflected, in Grogu's eyes, and on the visor, and in the whole ship, because they're physical, like, the cockpit is physically on a set with hyperspace, playing on a screen above it. So it's pretty cool from that perspective. But yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. I gave it 4 stars out of 5, and a Grand Admiral Thrawn quote on Letterboxd. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode of It's Just a Phase. This was episode 10, part 3 of 3, and I hope to see you tomorrow for Big 11. There are 3,640 episodes left. So yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow for tomorrow's episode. Bye, guys.